Hey, good evening, Ram family and my family that's viewing this abroad online. It's me, your man, Baron Bruce, and I'm broadcasting from the historically black campuses of Winston-Salem State University in beautiful Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I have something special on tap for y'all tonight. Right behind me at K.R. Williams Auditorium, we're going to have the Burke Singers, the Winston-Salem State University Choir, along with the Schola Cantorum, that's our male ensemble. But you know what? Immediately following will be our special guest speaker. And I'm talking about, of course, the author, the activist, the philanthropist, and did I happen to say the original king of comedy, Mr. D.L. Hughley? Yes, you have heard me correctly. Mr. D.L. Hughley will be our special guest speaker for us this evening. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, allow me to introduce to you Mr. D.L. Hughley.
Invited guests, students, and members of the community to the 17th Annual Wake Forest University, Winston-Salem State University, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Celebration. My name is Bradley Singleton. I am a senior communications major with a minor in journalism at Wake Forest University. That's right. And here with me this evening is Mr. William Gibson, a freshman class president and political science major here at Winston-Salem State University.
Good evening. I speak for Bradley and myself when I say that it is an honor for us to share this evening with all of you and to serve as your MCs. This occasion formally honors Dr. King, an extraordinary man, and his lifelong dedication to the pursuit of social justice. Thanks to the tireless effort and tenacity of Dr. King and other civil rights leaders, we're all able to assemble here this evening on common ground. Despite the differences that may exist in regards to religious affiliations, ethnicity, or socioeconomics.
17 years ago, students and administrators from Wake Forest and Winston-Salem State Universities committed their collective energies and resources to a collaborative MLK celebration. Staff and students from both institutions have been working to plan this evening for several months now, and we are all excited to share it with you.
Bradley and I will now share the history behind this evening's event. Sit-in protest for civil rights had begun in Winston-Salem on February 8th, 1960, 1 week after the more heralded Woolsworth sit-in in Greensboro. On February 23rd of that year, 22 people were arrested and charged with trespassing during a sit-in at a department store in downtown Winston-Salem. The group was comprised of 10 white students from Wake Forest College, 11 black students from Winston-Salem State Teachers College, now Winston-Salem State University, and Mr. Carl Matthews, a black Winston-Salem resident. The Winston-Salem demonstrations were unique in that whites joined blacks in the nonviolent protest, and they were the first in the area to be brought to trial on March 2nd. The result of their courageous action was the voluntary and nonviolent integration of Winston-Salem lunch counters.
Nearly 17 years ago, our university celebrated the 40th anniversary of the sit-in demonstration by reuniting these individuals arrested in 1960. In fact, the entire city of Winston-Salem celebrated the experience of the students who participated in the lunch counter sit-ins. As we reflected on their perseverance and collective activism, we were reminded of what can be accomplished when we work together towards a common goal. We were inspired to reunite our university on a permanent basis as our predecessors had worked together to shape a generation and a nation. So today, we honor the legacy of Dr. King by bringing our historically black and predominantly white universities together once again to celebrate a common cause. Over the past 15 years, we have translated the meaning of Dr. King's work into several themes: performing the dream, one dream can change the world, uniting voices to make history, and this year's theme, on common ground, a dream deferred.
We ask that you all join us in the spirit of unity and progress as we begin tonight's program.
We would like to bring before you Schola Cantorum of Winston-Salem State University, after which we will have a welcome from Winston-Salem State University's Chancellor, Dr. Elwood Robinson.
o'er the gloom of the grave, and the star-spangled banner is triumph of way in the land that's so-called free. Will we be free? When will we be free? When will we be free? In my country, 'tis of thee you've not been fair to me. Our people sing, sing a song, sing a song. Let us march on, move on. Let us march on, move on. Let us march on, gotta keep on fighting. Let us march on until we find our victory. Let us march on, let us march on. I know you've been hurting. Let us march on, and I know you've been struggling. Let us march on, gotta move on. Let us march on, gotta keep on. Let us march on, I know you've been waiting. Let us march on, and you've been waiting. Let us march on, move on. Let us march on, move on. Let us march on, let us march on, sweet sound. Let us march on, say the best like you. Let us march on, 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 let us march on till victory. March on, march on.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., January 15, 1929, April 4, 1968, was one of the foremost intellectuals of the 20th century. As a Baptist minister, he was able to use Christian social ethics and the New Testament concept of love heavily in his writings and speeches. He was also, because of his intellectualism, was able to weave in Eastern spiritual traditions, Gandhi's political writings, Buddhism's notion of the interconnectedness of all things in ancient Greek philosophy. His enduring ethos represents a set of moral, spiritual, and civic responsibilities that fortify our humanity both individually and collectively. Nowhere does he transmute spiritual ideas from various traditions into secular principles more masterfully than his extraordinary 1958 essay, An Experiment in Love, in which he examines the 6 principles of his philosophy of nonviolence, debunks popular misconceptions about it, and considers how these basic tenets can be used to guide any successful movement of nonviolent resistance. Penned 5 years before his famous letter from Birmingham City Jail, and exactly a decade before his assassination, this beautiful essay is now written, and you can see it in the essential writings and speeches of Martin Luther King Jr., should be required reading for all human beings with a clicking mind and a ticking heart. As we celebrate this national holiday, we are called to honor Dr. King's legacy by working towards the freedom and equality that is the heart of America. As Dr. King said, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, keep moving forward. Let us move forward together, inspired by his message and dedicated to his dream. Good evening. Welcome to Winston-Salem State University, where we are in 2017 celebrating 125 years. I am simply delighted to stand before you this evening representing this great university, but partnering also with another great university, Wake Forest University. It has been a special moment as my time as Chancellor, this time where we get to come together to celebrate a great man, but we do it to celebrate a community that is here moving forward. We are not standing still. And because of the work of you and so many others in this community, we stand ready to take on whatever challenge comes our way. Because we are not afraid. Because we've been through so much. We've seen so much. We've done so much. Nothing frightens us. I wake up every day ready to go to work. And I thank you for coming out here tonight to be a part of this celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Please enjoy the program.
Thank you, Schola Cantorum and Chancellor Robinson. I would now like to ask that you all please stand as the Wake Forest University and Winston-Salem State University Gospel Choir sing an original arrangement of the Negro National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing, followed by greetings from Wake Forest University's President, Dr. Nathan O. Hatch.
Sad. you for that great music. Good evening. It's a pleasure for me to join Chancellor Robinson in welcoming all of you to this very special occasion. From all of us at Wake Forest, we are delighted to join you for this special evening in celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a man who not only accomplished much in his life, but whose character still inspires us. In recent reflection to members of the Wake Forest community, I reminded them of New York Times columnist David Brooks' idea of resume virtues and eulogy virtues. That is, resume virtues, what we want to say how good we are, versus eulogy virtues, that's the kind of people we want to become. What we hope someday people will say about us. As universities, our academic mission is central to what we do, but we are also called to higher purpose. The value of education is not simply that we do a certain kind of learning, but it's to mold us as special kinds of people. The lessons we learn are not isolated to textbooks and classrooms, as important as those are. We have the opportunity to learn from people and situations that cross our paths. This semester, I challenged our campus, can we cut against the grain and demonstrate what it means to bridge differences and to uphold the common good, to have conversations with people with whom we disagree, to reach out to those who may not feel fully welcomed in our communities, to extend ourselves to purposes higher than ourselves. That is, to help those of us who can run need to help those who can only walk. And those of us who can walk need to help those who can only crawl. I think this can be done by following the example of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We can offer the others the gift of conversation. We can seek to understand, and in everything we can extend grace one to another. As we prepare to serve an increasingly global, diverse, polarized, and often confusing world, it is up to us to become the kind of people and the kind of community that will be known for those eulogy virtues. Tonight, as we celebrate the life, work, and legacy of Dr. King, I hope you will be inspired. I hope you will be moved to act. And I hope you will pursue the virtues that we all want to define us, the ones used when it comes time to describe who we really are. Thank you.
Thank you, Wake Forest University and Winston-Salem State University Gospel Choirs and President Hatch. Before we continue, we would like to acknowledge the 2017 Building the Dream Award recipients and ask them to stand when their name is called, or if they're available, they came this evening, sorry, guys. Round of applause, anyway. First, the recipient from Wake Forest University, Dr. Derek Hicks. Oh, there you go. And this year, Wake Forest University had 2 student recipients, and they are Ms. Rose O'Brien and Cassandra Rebelar.
Now we will acknowledge the 2017 recipients from Winston-Salem State University. This year, there were 2 faculty recipients from WSSU, Dr. Don Tafari and Dr. Fran Bates Oates. This year, WSSU student recipient is Deshaunda Brown. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. If there are any past Building the Dream Award recipients from years past with us here tonight, would you please stand to be recognized? Ladies and gentlemen, we will now have a musical selection by the Burke Singers of Winston-Salem State University, after which Chizoba Ukairo and Anthony Wells will introduce our keynote speaker for this evening.
We will not bow down to your racism. No, we will not bow down. We won't bow down. Injustice. No, we will not bow down. We won't bow down. Exploitation. What you gonna do? I'm gonna stand. I'm gonna stand. You gonna do? I'm gonna stand. I'm gonna stand. We will not obey. We won't obey racism. No, we will not obey. We won't obey injustice. No, we will not obey. We won't obey exploitation. What you gonna do? I'm gonna stand. I'm gonna stand. What you gonna do? USA. February 1st became a history-making day. Greensboro across the land, the news spread far and wide. Silently and bravely they took a giant stride. Even sisters and brothers. Now rose a cry for freedom and human liberty. Oh, come along, my people, and take a seat with me. Hear the call. Sisters and brothers,
We hope you all are enjoying yourselves thus far and will continue to enjoy the remainder of the evening. My name is Anthony Wells, a senior marketing major, communications minor here at Winston-Salem State University, and I have the honor of introducing this evening's speaker, along with Ms. Chizobu Caro, senior psychology major, Spanish and political science minor at Wake Forest University.
Our speaker this evening is one of the most popular and highly recognized stand-up comedians on the road today. He's also made quite an impression on television, film, and radio arenas. Currently, he can be heard nationwide as host of his own afternoon radio show, The D.L. Hughley Show, which is nationally syndicated in over 60 cities across the country, including the #1 radio market, New York City. He's also recently released his second book, Black Man, White House, An Oral History of the Obama Years, described as a satirical retrospective of Obama's years in office. The book, which was released last June, made the New York Times bestseller list.
This gentleman is currently touring as a part of the Comedy Get Down Tour, which features him alongside with Cedric the Entertainer, George Lopez, Eddie Griffin, and Charlie Murphy. The tour will be turned into a doc-reality series slated to air on BET and Comedy Central this fall. First and foremost, a stand-up comedian, he stars in his ninth stand-up comedy special, Clear, which is currently airing on Showtime. Known for being astute and politically savvy and true comedian style, D.L. served as the host of his own late-night talk show on CNN, D.L. Hughley Breaks the News, and was a series regular on the NBC drama Studio 60 on the Sun Strip. D.L. hosted TBS's game show, Trust Me, I'm a Game Show Host. He also tapped into his playful side and participated in the 16th season of ABC's show, Dancing with the Stars.
Hughley was the star and producer of his namesake television show, The Hughleys, which ran on ABC and UPN. He's also well known as one of the stand-up comedians on the hit comedy docu-film, The Original Kings of Comedy. A veteran of numerous talk show appearances, he switched the tables in 2005, hosting his own talk show on Comedy Central, Weekends at the DL. He is a regular on the late-night talk show circuit, including always memorable appearances on Real Time with Bill Maher and The Tonight Show. He is frequently requested as a guest host for such shows as Good Morning America, The View, and Live with Kelly.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is our honor and privilege to bring before you a man who does not take lightly the need to be socially and politically aware and engaged, although his first love has always been and will always be stand-up comedy. Introducing everyone, please give a round of applause for Mr. D.L. Hughley.
Give them a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And how about the choir? I can honestly say that's the first time a choir ever opened for me. What the hell was y'all thinking? Thank you, the president of Wake Forest, and also Winston-Salem State for having me here. Happy 2017. I'm glad we all made it, and that was something. Because you know it's going to be a challenging year when Prince is gone and Bobby Brown is healthy as hell. That's what I'm saying. That's when you know God might not have been looking that day. I think I'm amazed by so many things. I remember when I grew up, the three pictures we had in our house was Jesus, JFK, and Martin Luther the King. I thought his name was the King, I didn't even know. And that big wood fork and spoon on the wall. Jesus must be hungry. I think Martin Luther King, people often ask the question, how would he feel if he came back? I think 8 years ago, he would feel decidedly different than he would now. I think that ultimately, he would have been inspired by the changes that were ahead of us. And I think if he woke up now, it would look familiar to him. I think it would be familiar. It is the stories that we tell ourselves. I think America is a great place. I think it fights with who it is and who it wants to be. Like recently they proposed putting Harriet Tubman on the front of the $20 bill, an homage to what we can be. But they also proposed leaving Andrew Jackson on the back. So you have a slave on the front and a slave owner on the back. Which means even when we make it to money, we still got a supervisor. I think that Martin Luther King inspired us to be here now. I know that he inspired me to be able to speak a truth and say what I mean, whether that's popular or not. And I think that that is what it is called for now. I think that Friday will mark a different day for us. But I think it's a day that we should not have been surprised by. I think that we can't be shocked when we try to revert to what we've always been. I think that it's not shocking to see that fear and silence won the day. I think that I'm also hardened by some things I've seen. I've seen some things that would give you heart. Like I watched this great movie, Hidden Figures. I would say Hidden Fences, but this is not the Oscar. I think Hidden Fences is actually Donald Trump's immigration plan. But Hidden Figures was a story of how black women helped lead us to the moon. And it's amazing. If black people can get us to the moon, they can get us out of our circumstances. I don't think that there's been a lot, I mean, obviously if you've been on social media, you've seen the discourse of whether people should visit with the president-elect or not. I think that that's a silly notion because I think that it's fair to say Martin Luther King talked to people who were much more racist than we see now. I think that it's not wrong to talk to people you disagree with. It's wrong to not know why you're there. Thank you. I think it's wrong to not know why you're there. And I think the premise is wrong. I think ultimately we have a lot of great stories to tell. I think that athletes and entertainers and rappers and comedians have something to contribute to the conversation. But I don't think that we should be held up as an example. You all should be, the people that went to college. Let me tell you something. Athletes, entertainers, rappers, and comedians, we have to have people to speak for us. Matter of fact, only rappers, entertainers, and hookers have people to speak for them. Now the choir's leaving the stage, I see. That's just not... I said that to say that I think that if the president-elect were serious about changing black people's position and their station on earth, instead of lauding athletes, entertainers, and performers, he would have lauded the president, the current president. I think there's no greater example of what we can be than what he is. I think he was an exemplary man, and I think that he didn't get everything right, but I think he was an earnest man who loved his family and spoke the truth and did the best he could. And I think that would be, if you really were serious about changing people's position, their station in life, you would have held him up as an example of what we could literally. I don't want my children to tell jokes. I want them to lead. I want them to put themselves in a position where the whole world sees that they've overcome. And I think if that were held up as a standard, we're not having this conversation. I think that it's a shame that we're now trying to figure out how to make our community safer. Ladies and gentlemen, our community isn't a place. It's not, a church isn't a church just because it's a building. It is because of the people. And it's amazing to me that we fight to keep, the reason we live where we live is because that's what they told us we had to. That's where you have to live. That's why there's a East Winston-Salem and a West Winston-Salem. That's why that exists. And that's just not here, that's everywhere. So when you get athletes and entertainers to speak for people instead of scholars and mayors and congressmen and civil rights workers who are invested in those communities, what you want me to do? I spent every day of my life trying to get out of where I was. That's the goal. You don't work hard to stay where you came from. I don't want to be a man that tells you how to stay where you were. I don't want to make it more comfortable for you. I want you to go where you believe you can. If women can send us to the stars, we can get out of our situation. I believe that that's true. I believe that when I hear these terms like black on black crime and we echo them back, that's proximity. That really is. People who hurt people who have no hope hurt other people. That's not about a moral failing of yours. And when you repeat that, you give it cause. You give it light. Like, I don't know if Black Lives Matter, but I know sometimes they do. Like at the Olympics. That was we did. Because, and we don't go to the Winter Olympics, we do the stuff you learn how to do free at the park. That's what we do. There's a black woman won a gold medal in swimming. Everybody was shocked, wasn't they? Even she went, I won? Now everybody's swimming now, see? That's vision. Gabby Douglas was another gymnast that made an amazing accomplishment. She did things no other gymnast had done, and rather than celebrating her accomplishments, people looked at her hair. And why is her hair nappy? Because that's what your hair looked like when instead of going to the beauty shop, you go to the gym, pursuing the goal of God. That is how you look when you care more about how you start than how you finish. And that is also how a lot of sisters here would look like if Sally Beauty Supply burned down tomorrow. That is true. It'll be a room full of Gabby Douglas right now. Stop it. I remember our mothers and fathers, and all they wanted was better for us. They said simple things that mattered to us, and we listened to them. Like, if you don't work, you don't eat. Hey mama, what's for dinner? Nothing. Nothing is the other white meat. They loved us and they wanted the best for us, and they knew that the only way that could happen is if we educated ourselves. I love what I do, but I have to do what I have to do. I have to, because I didn't take the opportunity I was given. And I think more than ever, we have to understand, in America, it's not hard to work. But that's not the point. In America, it's two things. It's horrible jobs and careers. Every once in a while, you get to be the supervisor of people with horrible jobs. But that's, in America, you can work if you're willing to do a job people won't do, or you're capable of doing a job they can't do. Like if you won't pick a strawberry and you can't write an apple, you better get a jump shot and learn how to drop a dope beat, because that's what's out there. I think that if we want to make this country better for ourselves, we have to understand the value of education. Like even now, we have to understand what it means and what it can do. Like there's a generation of children called millennials. I have 3 millennials living home with me. I pay for all of them to graduate from college. I pay for my wife to graduate from college. I got a GED, but I'm the only one working, so. One of these things is not like the other. You know you're smart when you can make a dummy pay your bills. And we ain't got no money. Well, let's go ask the dummy. I think that Martin Luther King showed us what could be. He showed us what we were, what we could be, everything that we aspire to be. And I think that we're in the situation we're in right now because we forgot it. I think we forgot it. I think that we thought that it was all okay. I never heard so many people going, ain't no difference. Everybody the same. I've never seen so many people that were so woke sleep at the wheel. There is a difference, and I'm not saying anyone's right or wrong, but it's our participation that matters. It's the fact that we count. Right now, when I hear people tell these stories about themselves, like, well, more black people go to prison. We understand what happens, but there's two sides of the coin. Black women right now, the most educated segment of our society, the most entrepreneurial, the most disposable assets. I think you have become leaders, and if we followed your lead, I think it'd be a lot better. I think that we have forgotten where we came from because we don't listen to the stories that came before us. It's a shame that we're just learning about hidden figures. Everything we grew up with, I remember The only thing I was afraid of, the only animals I was scared of was pit bulls and German shepherds. Now alligators and gorillas. I don't understand that. Like black people go to Disney World just like everybody else, but when we see a sign that say no swimming, we figure they know what they're talking about. We respect signs. We don't even tear that tag off our pillows, they don't remove it. Go to black people's house and look at their pillow right now. Try to tear it off, you'll get your natural ass whooped. Look at the president of Wake Forest. What's with the pillow? Wake Forest, Winston, Salem. This is. Isn't it ironic, the more things change, the more they stay the same? Like we live in a place where we still have to say Black Lives Matter. That's not to exclude everybody else. Well, it's black on black crime. 90% of black people kill black people. 87% of white people kill white people. Asians kill Asians. Latin kill Latins. Husbands kill wives. Wives kill husbands. That's about proximity. You kill what you're around. That's just true. That's what we do. You want us to kill other people? Let us work some overtime. No, I'm just I watch the world, and I don't want to be just a bystander. And I don't encourage you to be a bystander. I encourage you to do the best you can for the people around you for as long as you can. I've learned more this year about people and how they see themselves than I ever thought I would. Everything is possible, everything we truly believe. If we can believe the worst of us, why not the best? Like honestly, we don't. I think that the world is two places. I think the country is two places specifically. Part of the country wants to be the Jetsons. They want to go into the future. And part of the country wants to be the Flintstones. Part of the country wants to go back, part of it wants to go forward. And the only place, like if you had a time machine, like some people want to make America great again, they want to go back in the past. If black people go back in the past, it'd be about 2008. We wouldn't do it because our time machine wouldn't burn no gas. Like, no, we good right here. Stop. I don't know what would have happened if the other side had won. I know they didn't. But I know the first thing they wouldn't have done is take away 20 million people's health care. That might not be the first thing. You can't tell me how we should be together when everything is based on dividing us. You want to kick out all the Mexicans and build a wall, that's amazing, because you better not kick those Mexicans out for the wall get built. I know that. Black people don't work outside like that no more. When a job is too hard for us, we call Mexicans. Hey, Javier, what you doing now? Meet me in front of the Home Depot. Want to kick out all the Muslims? Ain't no more American doctors no more. My doctors always smell like curry. That's all I'm saying. Taxi to my doctor's office. He walked out. I'm like, hey, didn't you drop me off here? Is that your last name or the stuff I got? I gotta get Rosetta Stone to fill out my prescription. Yes, this is Doctor. Now everybody's worried about ISIS. The most dangerous thing in America is proven. There's other Americans. 300 Americans shoot 300 Americans every day. 100,000 Americans are shot by other Americans every year. More Americans have been killed by Americans than died in all the wars we've ever fought combined. ISIS ain't got nothing on us. I'm not worried about a Muslim. I'm scared of a white dude who just got laid off. I know that. I'm fired. I'll be right back. In Jesus' name. Look at my wife. I can't believe he's doing this. I don't know what will be. I don't know what will happen. I remember right after the election how disappointed and how hurt everybody was, and I talked to my father, and he laughed. He laughed. He said, man, we've survived Jim Crow. We can survive anything. All we have to do. It's really a simple thing. All we have to do is do what we've always done, is rely on each other. All we have to do, and by each other, I mean everybody. I mean everybody. I look at the world and we have so much, this country has so much potential. We have to decide which direction we'll allow it to be taken in this state right now, which was very pivotal in deciding who the President of the United States was. I'm not mad at y'all because y'all got a great choir. And y'all gave us barbecue, so, and Duke in North Carolina, I forgive y'all. But I think the only way that we get better is to acknowledge where we have been and to look forward to where we have to go. And I hope this. I hope that we do it together because that's the only way it works. It is. It literally is the only way it works. I think we've seen, I've watched what happened. Like right now, we live in a society where, look at what we looked like 10 years ago. We would have never imagined that we would be so accepting of people and who they loved and what they did. Like, we had our first gay athlete drafted in the NFL. I'm proud of America for evolving past the point to look at somebody's sexuality. A lot of activists were upset. Michael Sam went the 7th round because he was gay. No, Michael Sam went the 7th round because he ran a 4.9. Now, you can be gay, but you can't be slow and gay. You know what I mean? You got to come up the gate just as fast as you came out the closet. I'm saying, you can. That's not enough. You can love a man on Saturday as long as you can catch that man on Sunday. I just think that's true. I don't even know how black people would be opposed to gay people because one of the gay people, many of us would not have a choir director. So, oh, that's not true? We'll see on Sunday. Y'all knew what happened when y'all hired me. Stop it. Look at the president of Wake Forest. I thought we were going to see Carrot Top. Let me know. I just believe that, like, I get into, well, if you know, I probably am somebody's always angry at me for the things I say. Well, you didn't have to say it out loud. Little snitching ass. I'm out of here. Forget this man. I try to be as truthful and clear as possible, and I try to use humor to illustrate my point. It's not much different than when we used to get aspirin and orange juice. Like, my mother used to give you something you liked but something you needed. I think we need laughter. I think we need entertainers. I think we need to dance, and I think we need to smile, and I think we need to be entertained. But I think we also need to understand that they will not take us where we need to be. It is the people who have learned and who can show us the way. All of you all young people in college, like how many young, round of applause, how many young people are in college right now? How many young people in junior college right now? Oh, well. How many people go to school online? Anybody? You clap by yourself, huh? That's just, y'all ain't even got a parking lot, huh? My daughter went to school online. She said, Daddy, we off for 2 weeks for the holidays. How the hell are you off for online school? You unplugged your computer for 3 weeks? Part of me feels hypocritical being here because I never went to school. Like I was just dumb. I used to cheat to get a D. I would cheat out the smarts doing the school paper. I didn't even believe him. Teacher, walk to the board and show me how you got that. So I would walk up and draw a picture of me looking at somebody else's paper. And I feel hypocritical telling you what I believe because, you know, obviously I didn't do what it is I could do. And the reason I keep hearkening back to entertainers and athletes and rappers and performers who all have a valuable place, isn't it ironic that those are the people feel comfortable speaking for us? Because they're used to us laughing and singing, writing jokes, and running the ball. When the better example of what we could be was the president. I mean, to me, people will accept the idea that we can run the ball but not the country. That's the difference. And I think the only way, and the thing that's most salient for the young people in here, is that I think that you all have a chance to show people what we are. I think that you can be the example of the content of somebody's character, not the color of their skin. It's up to you all. It's up to you all to decide where we go. Now, I'm kind of scared, but I'm kind of hard. Young man, what do you major in? Yes, sir, you. Business. What kind? Because my brother's in business and yet he's in jail. He worked with baking soda. Let the choir say amen. What kind of business? Huh? The music business. Okay. Do you know that in the music business, if you're not like an entertainer, you can work with more people? Like, you know how many people I pay because I didn't get an education? I got doctor, I got a business manager, I got a lawyer, I got accountants. You can work if you are educated. The fact that I'm not means that it costs a lot of money to be dumb, let me tell you. What about you, young man? What do you do? Oh, well. Get to work, partner. We need all of it. We need business, we need doctors, lawyers, policemen. I think that it's a misnomer that black people don't respect police officers. We understand what they mean. And I think that the great ones should be celebrated. I do. I think that I think that just because you wear a uniform doesn't make you a bad person or a good person. I think it makes you somebody doing a job. A good person, a good policeman, understand. Like I was talking to the officer that's guarding me right now, and he talked about how he'd grown up in a neighborhood, but the difference was the police officers we grew up with lived in our neighborhoods. They didn't. I watched somebody say, and he was a very prominent figure, he said, well, black people need to teach their children respect, which obviously we try to all the time. But if your answer to modern policing is that the children need to learn how to act so they don't get hurt, that tells you everything you need to know. Everybody, respect is a two-way street. Respect means we both respect each other. I think that we have to understand the place we're in, and I think that we have to understand what we can accomplish. And I think you young people have a hard way to go. But I think that if you keep it up, well, maybe, maybe not the person that went to school online. That may be a different thing. I'm gonna come to your graduation. What's the email address? Shit, that felt good. I'm just fucking around. Come on, just one. I can't get one. I thank you all for having me. I think that it's an honor for me to be here for a lot of reasons, but primarily because I think the example of Martin Luther King has never been more necessary. The embodiment of what he stood for has never been more important. And I think it's time for us to remember who we are and where we came from. And if we can do that, I promise you, Friday won't be nothing but another day. Another thing to get through. Thank you all so much. I hope I didn't embarrass you. I'm glad you guys came out. Happy Martin Luther King Day. Thank you very much. I guess now I'm supposed to take questions, right? But can I start with the girl that goes to school online? I know her computer's still on. I'm just kidding with you. So, what am I supposed to do? Pick up the microphone? What's different from that? Is this one different than that one? So this one I can't use this one? It's already been seasoned. You don't even know what you're doing out here. Get out of here. Let me guess, online school. Oh, all right, you go.
Are there any questions?
Well, he handed it to me.
It's not your fault.
Don't act like I did it.
Are there any questions?
Way in the back, huh? He too far back. We're gonna be here all day.
I'll start here. Talk a little bit about, you said, meeting with Donald Trump, and you should have a message, and you should know why you're meeting. I think that concept...
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What you say?
You're talking about the whole idea. It's not wrong to meet with individuals that you may differ from, a la Donald Trump or other folks. But you talk a little bit about what that conversation should be.
I think the conversation should be informed. I think if Bloods can meet with Crips and we can meet with the Russians and people can have conversations with people they are opposed to, I think conversation is a great thing. I think that you ultimately have to know what you want. And I think Martin Luther King was insistent and he was eloquent and he was informed. I think that people, I don't think when people have a divergent opinion that it's ever going to be comfortable. And I think comfort is why we're in trouble right now. I think people are afraid to say what they mean on both sides. Now, he obviously will state his position. I think that it's silly to go into a room and accomplish nothing but trending on Twitter. I think that's it, in my estimation. Now, I think you should be informed. Like, to me, it's really difficult for me to understand what you mean about bringing us together when we clearly have a different point of view on who should be Attorney General. I think Jeff Sessions isn't a serious consideration. I mean, I think obviously we have to hear what he says, but I think that would be a misnomer to believe that I don't have my reservations about if he should be the president. I think it's hard, the Attorney General, because I think the Justice Department is how we've made some of the advances we've made. I think we need a great relationship with the Justice Department, and I think that you have to be open-minded. I think it's kind of silly to put a man in front of HUD just because you think he lived in projects. That's silly to me. But I think our charge is easier than it has been. It's easy to know what you don't have to know what you will do, just know what you won't. And one of the things we can't do is go backwards. I just don't think that can happen.
lungs.
Damn. That deep ass boy, we in a well or something?
So, I think it was a few weeks ago, there was
Yeah.
controversy about one of your tweets.
Yeah.
And so, I was wondering, how do you feel as a comedian who wants to push the boundaries, be very critical, be aware, but also stay accountable to people? And I guess, how do you deal with that tension between what you're doing as a comedian and pushing that boundary and people's mores and beliefs and the people you want to represent?
Well, let me be clear. The only people I want to represent are all in my head. Everything I think for somebody else is a guess. The only thing I know is what I believe. I've never tried to enforce my opinion on somebody. I can only give it to you. I can tell you this, I'm never sorry for telling a joke. How people perceive that, that's not up to me. I think jokes, by definition, somebody's going to get hurt with every single thing you say. All I know is it has to come from a place that I find ironic or humorous. I'm assuming you're talking about the Debbie Reynolds tweet. I think, well, what I said was, to be clear, I said that Carrie Fisher passed and her mother, Debbie, passed the same day. And I said that my mother loves me, but if I go, she ain't coming with me. We don't ask God to take us because we know He will. Like we say stuff like, without a test, there can't be a testimony. Or we say, God don't put more than you can bear. You know, my mother would say, take me, Jesus. She'll never say that. So that was the genesis of my observation. It wasn't to denigrate somebody's death. I think that you have to be clear. I think that we live in a society now where everything is through a prism of social media. But I think the art form that I've loved my whole life, I can't care about what society thinks of what I'm about to say. I have to be responsible for it, and I have to be willing to take whatever comes along with it. But I'm not sorry for telling a joke. I'm not. I should be. No, I shouldn't. I'm not. Look at online. Wait till I get to my computer.
Over here.
Yes.
Yeah, I had a question for you. I wanted to find out if you had the opportunity and the chance to sit down, and I understand, I looked at some of the things that you said about how you feel about Donald Trump, how you said, I'm not a cussing man, but now and always, how you feel about it.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of people in America feel somewhat the same way. But if it was opportunity given unto you to sit down with him, because the people that he have chosen, the athlete, the comedian, the rapper, people like that he has chosen to go to represent the black community, but somebody that has an intellect, somebody that's intelligent, somebody that, not to say that they weren't, but somebody that could be able, from your standpoint, to sit down with him and tell him, so much as his election being a joke.
I think that what happens is that I'm not one of those people who's capable of forgetting what you said. I'm not. I think that you have to be held accountable for what you said. I think accountability is a funny word, but people only use it when it comes one way. And I think that you can't denigrate somebody that we hold in such high esteem and never mention it again. You can't say the things you've said and tell me that you care. Now I can't know how to move forward. Like, my wife is mad at me all the time. You know the first thing I have to do? See what a lot of things. Is to sincerely see where I might have done something that could be injurious to her and apologize. And apologize from a place of sincerity. And say that was something I said, because you can't stoke these fears and stoke this animus and then pretend like it didn't happen. There are people, even if what people agree with his agenda or not, where you think he's accomplished or not, even if the only thing he did was show our children that anything was possible, that is a hell of a thing to have done. And to tell the world, just imagine what it says to these young kids when a man as accomplished as him still gets denigrated. Like, if you've ascended to, you've done what society said you should do, you've applied yourself, you've kept your nose clean, you've honored your family, you've been a testament to your community, and they still call you names and denigrate you. That to me is as injurious as it calling everybody that. What does that tell my children? That tells my children that no matter how great you are, you're still a nigga. That can't happen. That can't. That can't. I would never apologize for telling a joke, but I would apologize for hurting somebody deliberately for my own gain. And I think that speaks to how sincere you are.
I would like to ask, I'm back here, I'm sorry. I would like to ask what your thoughts are about the Black community and how we are still struggling with being all-inclusive. We talk about Black Lives Matter, and we're passionate about how the police officers treat our young men.
Right.
However, we're still a community that if you're too light, we don't like you. If we're too dark, we have a problem.
Sure.
If you're gay, we have a problem.
Sure.
If you're a woman of power, we have a problem. What are your thoughts about that, and how can we be better as a community to further advance ourselves?
I think ultimately we've listened to a lot of negative stories about ourselves and not enough honorable ones. I think that one of the first things people say is, what about Chicago? It has such a high murder rate. Nobody can deny that. You know what it also has? The highest unemployment rate for Black men in the country. So you can't tell people to put down violence and not pick up opportunity or hope or vision. You can't do that. What you're doing right now, you understand how this works. Here's what I find ironic. The places we live, we had to live. The schools we go to, we had to go there. The Highway Act went through Black areas that were wealthy homeowners. People own homes. That from the west to the east, they went through Black areas deliberately. The HUD was complicit in only making sure that Black people could live in certain places. That's not me. So all of a sudden, you take people who have never had a fair opportunity, you put them in situations they never had hope, and generation after generation after generation. What do you think is going to happen? That's not a testament who we are morally. That's a testament to external circumstances. Now, part of it is obviously a moral failing on some of our parts, but a part of it is also a society's responsibility. I was at the White House a couple of weeks ago. There were I was 30 years removed from the young men that they were mentoring. And do you know what all of us had in common? We all had exactly the same experiences. Now, we're separated by years and miles. If all of us can't be the same, I think it's inherent that we will buy the worst of ourselves. When you say Black on Black crime, you say it's okay to do that because all of you have the propensity to do this, and we buy it. You would never say that all white people act like that. You can't conversely go, Black on Black crime is a moniker for you to be able to do what you want because this one might be the same as that one. Where else would you look at somebody and paint them all with one broad brush and that be societally acceptable? I think if a man takes a police officer's life, he should go to jail and be suffered. Like those people in Chicago that did what they did to that young boy, they should be subject to the harshest extent of the law. There's no ambiguity. This is what people don't seem to realize. Black people send Black people to jail every single day for the things they do, whether it's to us or not. Whether it's to us or not, we have a tremendous investment in who we are and our communities. But it shouldn't be a moniker when something happens. If a bank is robbed all the time and the police show up, they can't go, well, this bank get robbed all the time, so I might as well do it. And you accept it. All lives, if they all matter, we should all have the same objection when something happens to anybody. That's just, I don't understand how that's, and this notion of our community only exists, almost 75% of Black people don't live in the inner cities no more. So the notion of the community as it once existed is not true. Our communities are where we are. There should have never been a place where Black people had to live, or Mexicans had to live, or white people had to live. That was a configuration of who we were. If we want to ascend, we have to understand our communities in our heads and our hearts. It's not the place, the geographic area. It's not between Martin Luther King and railroad tracks. You want to go further? Our community is us.
Michael, Deal, I'm so glad you came to this community. In 1999, you and Cedric and Bernie Mac and Steve Harvey, you guys came to Green.
Sure. Yeah.
Doing Hurricane Andrew. And I want these people to know that you guys were on the cover of Time magazine, and you pledged $3 for every ticket sold.
Yep.
And at the end of the concert, you all brought the mayor of Princeville out and gave her a check for $53,000. A lot of people are glad you're here, and keep up the good work.
I will. Thank you.
Good evening. You said how your father laughed when he asked about, when you said moving forward in the future after this election. President Obama, during his farewell speech, also said that we will be all right in the summary, and saying that particularly we'll be all right because of the next generation that's moving into leadership. So what are your words of encouragement or your words to the next generation if you had to sit down and speak with them?
I think that it's probably more difficult because some of the things we grew up hearing is not like politically correct to say. Like we understood that, like my mother used to say, you got to work twice as hard to get half as far. She said that you have to be better than everybody. You have to be excellent. And you have to, my mother always said, don't nobody love you with me. I mean, we heard a lot of things that seemed negative to people. But we all have the same mother. All right, that's it. But it wasn't to denigrate us. It was to prepare us for the world that they knew. The world that they knew is different than the world we are, but I think there's some similarities. So the only thing that I can say in terms of encouragement is never let anybody tell you what you see for yourself. There can never be a more stark vision. You can never, like, in my business, nobody pitches you ideas, like, unless they want to hire you. If you have your, like, I didn't learn how to read till I was 19, 20 years old. So, wow, that was a lot. Look at online, see? That's what you get. And ignorant bastard, that's what you get. I didn't learn how to read till I was 19, 20 years old. I go on the road and I would get these, so everything I did, I would do horribly at auditions because you had to read. And I would always go off script. Off script doesn't mean you're not paying attention to it. So how I got a TV show was I was able to write it. I learned how to write. And I would read newspapers and I would see words and I would read them over and over again until I understood what they meant. And then before I knew it, I was able to kind of articulate how I felt and able to read. And I think that the sense of shame made me feel like that because there's no shame in not knowing anything. I think shame is a great monitor, but it's also what keeps us down. We shouldn't be ashamed to not know something. We shouldn't be ashamed to ask for help, and we shouldn't be ashamed to make a mistake. We should be ashamed when we don't learn from them. We should be ashamed when we allow that mistake to become our pattern. But I think it's fairly easy. You just have to know you better than you expect anybody else to.
We'll take 2 more questions.
Hi, my name is Ivy. It's such an honor just to be in the same room as you. And I guess my question is, in a millennial generation where our voices are the most amplified through Facebook, Twitter, social media, etc., our voices are still the most marginalized. I mean, BET is white owned, and black women are the most educated members of society, and yet we're still grossly underrepresented in Congress, business, you name it. So I guess what my question is, what do you see in this generation that can change that awful irony?
You. You guys never needed revisions, you needed vision. I think that's just what you articulated. I think the idea, listen, nobody can make you feel good about you. The fact that, when I read that it was a sobering statistic that how well you had done in college, how you're 6 times more entrepreneurial, you know that. So don't look to somebody else to affirm that for you. You literally are. You've done it without anybody acknowledging you. Imagine when you do it for yourself. I think that what happens to a lot of people is they listen to the negative. Like, you all are not reality shows. You're not what you see on TV, but you allow that to be your narrative. And I'm not saying there's not a place for that, but there's a place for an alternate reality too. There's a place for somebody like you who articulates herself and carries herself in a way can have just as loud a voice and just as popular one. But we can't as a society find that for it. I think what Shonda Rhimes is doing is amazing. I think what Oprah has done is amazing. There's some amazing, amazing records. Renee is amazing. So even the story Hidden Figures, it's beating Star Wars. You sent motherfuckers to the moon and now you beating the stars. It's amazing to me. So I think that story, that the question you're asking yourself is a false premise. You're being acknowledged. It's just not as fast as you wanted to be.
So my question is, like, what advice do you have for, like, the young entertainers in the room, the people that like to, sing or maybe do stand-up comedy or act? Or what advice do you have for the ones who want to get to where you are or higher?
I think I'd have to ask you, what do you think I am? I mean, because you have to know what you want. You want to sing, that place you can sing for a living. You want to be a big star, you have to decide what you want. And I think that oftentimes you look at the result, but not what they've done for it. And I'm gonna tell you, a lot of people, you'll see a lot of famous people who implode under the weight of being famous. You've seen a lot of people, I think every death is tragic, but not every death is shocking. And I think you literally, like your mama said, you gotta be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. I think, know why you do it. It's amazing to have talent. It's amazing to be able to move people. But if you do it for reasons that aren't going to sustain you through it, I think a fire can warm you, but it can burn you up too.
We're done with the questions.
Y'all scaring the shit out of me. I don't know where these voices coming from.
Those were the final two.
Huh?
Those were the final two.
I didn't hear. Did anybody hear what she said? Listen. That's it? That's it.
Yes.
Thank y'all.
You can have the others come in and we can take a still shot. Okay, so grab them right quick.
Thank you.
Take that.
Oh, so get the school meeting. Okay.
Y'all know where the ugly students at? Y'all live, y'all
Here in the county.
Hello, nice to meet you.
How you doing?
Fine, and you?
I gotta keep ducking to say hi to people. Guess we should go down here so this thing is not in the way. Get somebody else.
I want to be out of the way.
Y'all coming down here so that you don't have to stay.
No, they don't get a picture in the restroom.
Yeah, let go one shift this. You know you don't have to duck. Stop it.
Wait, wait.
There we go. We're all in there. Is that everybody?
It's all up here.
Come over to this side, young lady. Yeah, you. Come over this side. There you go. There you go. That's perfect. Excellent. Excellent. Now we can see everybody. Perfect. Let me see what we got here.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Oh my God, you are really great. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. No, she didn't. Just get a hug.
Yes, I am.
Okay, y'all can take this picture. Thank you.
Is there a list
Right, you ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Did that look bad?
Girl,
you good. With the them,
take this picture, please.
you look great.
You want to take this one?
Okay, look great.
I still look red enough.
What do you want to happen?
Okay.
Wait. Okay.
Yes.
Squeeze me.
1, 2, 3.
Now you showing.
Thank you. Jump in there, Byron.
Oh, yes.
How you doing?
I think it's bad too.
What? I think we see it.
Right. This is nothing that we never had. And
I think the only difference is now you know. You kind of saw things take a little discount.
Louis got in a new up-and-coming movie. So on the bed, cut our players, huh? When I get back
That's right. We did it before. We can do it again. Ram Television. Heard it right here, folks. Your man Baron Bruce, Mr. D.L. Hughley, original king of comedy.
Is that your very son?
You know, well, he definitely got y'all back in line. Get you in order. And guess what? Don't wait for 4 years. Wait for 2.
Yeah.
2. You can do it in 2. All right. Remember, 2 years. It's coming back around again. Ram TV. Your man Baron Bruce. See ya.
Hey. When will we be free? When will we be free?